What's going on, guys? Nick Dark here. This is going to be another video for the full chart breakdown series, and in this one we're going to be covering USDCHF. So let's just get right into it. First thing we want to do is identify some support and resistance levels and work our way down through a top-down analysis. So we're on the monthly time frame here, and just like the other videos, I'm going to go ahead and find some key support and resistance levels. So first thing we want to do is go to the line chart, and I'm looking for areas where price action has reacted multiple times. I like this area right here, I can tell already. Let's go ahead and start marking these. So it's touched here, a bunch of times there. Let's just double check with the candlestick chart. Looking pretty good, I like it. Definitely looks like a very significant area. Let's go ahead and label this now. Monthly, right there. Okay, next level, let's find it. I'm gonna say right in here somewhere. Let's call it 1.205. See if that makes sense. Actually, I like the round number better. 1.20. Let's double check with the candlestick chart. Yep, went through, reacted here, a bunch of times here, and again. Okay, cool. So that's pretty good so far. I like that. Let's label it. So there's no rush in this process too. You guys want to just make sure that these levels are pretty accurate, that they're the levels that are, have reacted the most pretty much through structure here. So this is looking pretty good so far. I'm going to go ahead and throw a price range on this from here to here, and then we're going to move this up. And then what I'm going to do is try and identify some other levels based on this range being, pretty consistent throughout. So this is looking like 1385. Another monthly level there. Okay, and you can kind of move it a little bit wherever it lines up better. Again, these are areas where, or more or less zones where we're expecting price action to, react to some degree. We're not looking exactly for price action to stop on the pip at these levels. These are just significant zones more so. So we can anticipate some sort of reaction to happen in these areas. Okay, yeah, it's not an exact pinpoint, to the pip type of thing. So let's just keep going here. All right, so this looks pretty good. We wanted to check the candlestick chart real quick. Touched here, broke through, touched here again, broke through, touched his resistance here. Okay, so this level's pretty good. I like it. Back to the line chart. Let's do this once more. We don't need to go higher actually because we want to stay near current, most recent price action. Let's go ahead and mark this level. This is going to be 0.83, okay, and that is our last monthly level that we need. We don't want to clutter the chart. We want to keep it pretty straightforward, and you can always double check with this, switching back to the candlestick chart. So this is like, it's touched here, There's probably some lower time frame stuff we'll get to in a second, but we're not quite finished here on the monthly. We just need to split these levels and find our weeklies, okay? Find our weekly support and resistance levels. So we've gone ahead and marked that, find the halfway point, roughly, and it's looking like 0.925. How does that line up? Again, double checking. Looks pretty good. Touched multiple times. Again, over here as well. Looking pretty good so far. Okay, so let's go back to the line chart. Do the same thing for these two upper zones. Split it. Right here in the middle. And this one's looking like 1.05. Let's go ahead and make that the weekly. I actually didn't label that first one. Let's go back and do that. That level looks good. This level looks good. And then let's split this last one. And let's just put it back here so we can get the best idea of where price actions reacted. Okay, so this is looking like 1.2925 at the weekly. And what do? We double check it by switching back to the candlestick chart, seeing if all this makes sense. So let's just follow this, price action story for a second. We're bouncing off this monthly here, good. Bouncing off this weekly, it breaks through the weekly, finds resistance, comes back down, overlaps the monthly a little bit, that's okay. Comes back up, hits this weekly, finds support at the monthly again, breaks the monthly, finds resistance, pushes lower, bounces at this monthly twice, pushes through, overlaps the weekly, comes back down. We find some rejection off this monthly here, and then we're finding a whole bunch of price action reaction around this weekly, and in between this monthly specifically. So we actually can see some consolidation happening right in here. Okay, so this is like, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this zone right here because this is the most significant for current price action. And to me, this is saying every time price action comes up to this area, we see some sort of rejection. We'll see some type of reaction, whether it be, even here when it was support, it was pretty strong reactions. And once it broke through, testing as resistance, multiple reactions from that level as well. Okay, so this is looking pretty good so far. I do want to go ahead and see if this is an appropriate trend line for a pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and mess with this for a second. Let's take a look. I don't like this lower one. This is probably news oriented, so we're not going to count that one. I'm going to count from the real bodies of this little pattern here. Let's go ahead, zoom in a little more. I'm going to make this a black line. Just like that, okay. Looking pretty good so far. Let me extend this over. We'll bring over this zone, clean it up, make things look pretty good. Okay, so this is looking pretty nice right now. It looks like an ascending triangle pattern. We could pop out. So we need to drop down time frames at this point. I'm going to go ahead and do one more thing. Zoom out for a second here. Let's go ahead and save this chart. Zoom back in. I'm going to put the MAs on for a second because I want to see, how these MAs are reacting, how price action is reacting at these MAs and so on. So the 200 MA is above, quite above. Definitely bearish, obviously. Lower high, and so on. Multiple lower highs here, kind of just lining up at this monthly. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop to the weekly. See what else we can identify. Any other zones that we need to be aware of. Any other patterns that we can identify. Where the MA's at, and so on and so on. Okay, so this weekly brings us to this bit of price action here. This actual pattern, right? The ascending triangle. 200 EMA. We just crossed the 200 EMA. So like you can see right here, this is a major zone. Let me just highlight this for a second. I'm not going to leave this here, but I want to highlight this to show you guys. This was a huge transition. So this was support. If you just look left, this was key support all the way back here even. Right? Finally broke, tested as resistance, and now this is bearish. So we can add one trend line for this time frame on this weekly, and it's going to be a downward sloping trend line. Simply pointing out the fact that this is in a bearish trend right now. Lower high, breaking support, establishing new lows, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this zone now and leave this trend line. I'm going to bring it all the way down to the weekly actually. Right about there. Okay, so now we can drop to the daily. Let's drop to this daily time frame. Now we're going to start dicing up this time frame, start identifying structure and so on. So because this is a daily bearish trend right here, clearly we're getting lower high, and so on. I'm going to go ahead and highlight areas where transitions have happened. So this one right here looks pretty key to me. We're also going to try and see if this is real structure. Make it 1.1 flat. Looks really good. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to build areas of confluence. I want to see if I'm going to start fibbing this out and seeing how this works. So low to the low. Let's come back. Actually, this is more or less a weekly fib. Let's see. Yes, it is. It's a weekly fib. So from the high to the low, this is what we're fibbing. Down to the low here, we came back up and hit the 61.8, as you can see. So let me just go ahead and drop back down to the daily. And then I'm going to play this replay tool a little bit. So right, like look what's happening right here. I'm going to highlight the zone again for you guys. 61.8, and also a key area of support that was broken and tested as resistance multiple times. So just look at how important this this confluence area is, right where the 61.8 is. Really clear. So the fact that this is holding is showing that this is one of our golden levels. So this means that the bearish trend is still very strong on this time frame, and we can then continue looking for short opportunities. So let's go ahead and get rid of this replay tool, play it forward, see where it went. Right, so we hit structure, then started pushing lower. So now we refib and identify a new level of structure. Bang to here, it came back, formed a level right here. So I'm going to go ahead and line this off, show you guys. Right, pretty much right at this level here. So this is 0.985. Okay, nice little structure level there. We can get rid of this, and I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this zone for you guys. So this is more or less, daily structure right here. See how it broke? We highlighted this area. Okay, so let's just go back from the beginning here. At the start of this transition, so it broke through this support, right? Came back, tested as resistance, formed this level of support down here, and then consolidated. It kind of just went sideways for a little while, a little box pattern action, and then it continued. So meaning it broke support, pushed lower, retested, and then continued down, pulled back, and hit a fib level here before dropping again. This was a 61.8 fib level right here. Let's get rid of this replay tool for a second. Let's do that. So like watch. This could have been a really great entry right in here, right after this fib retracement. So take a look. 61.8, boom, 200 EMA is there as well. And then we know this level obviously is also a support turn resistance. So a lot of confluence here, and then you're getting that MA cross. Probably could have taken a trade right on here. Where'd it go? Could have taken a trade right on this. So it's a bearish variation, large bearish candle, and then 2 more bearish candles to follow. That's a nice bearish variation. And then we would have targeted much lower towards the negative 27 or bottom of the trend line. Either way, well over 2-1 risk reward. Very, very great potential trade there. So we're looking for something similar going forward. Okay, and then obviously as you saw, it took a huge drop down to the weekly itself. Giant move right there. I mean, this was Corona news, but still the technical analysis was there. So it was a really great trade. Okay, so now let's see, let's refib. This was structure obviously right here. It basically gave us a 100% retracement, right up to this level, back up to the resistance, and it held. So the news hit, and it still respected the overall trend. So, more or less, news just accelerated this move, this trend. It kind of exaggerated it, but still holding from a technical standpoint, which is absolutely amazing. Okay, so then we had this consolidation to follow, which is, very consistent with, US dollar and other pairs. So let's just go ahead. This one formed a pattern, like a symmetrical triangle here rather than just ranging. Because some of the other pairs, like if you look at DXY right after Corona, it formed a clear ceiling and a clear ceiling acting as resistance and a clear floor acting as support, and it was just bouncing. So this actually was like, price action was consolidating as this pattern was developing rather than just, even ranging. So let's go ahead and find the other trend line for this before it broke. This one's a little steep. I don't like it. Let's go like this. Boom. There we go. That makes a lot more sense, right? Okay, so let's just extend that out. Let's bring this back. Okay, so there's the triangle, right? Clearly, very bearish. Your overall sentiment would be bearish. So this was the 100% retracement. It pushed lower, came back up, and then rejected the 88.6 a few times, and then gave us some lower highs in a lower time frame. So this is another level right here where structure was then broken on a lower time frame. Let's call it, what is it? 96.5. I like this level right here. 96.5. Oh wait, I want to make it blue. That's why. There we go. Okay, cool. So you can see that it broke, retested, and then gave an entry example. So this is looking pretty good right now. It's pretty extended though. So let's drop to a 4-hour and try and identify some other trade opportunities and where we can potentially enter based on these moves that we're seeing now. Okay, so I want to bring this over, bring these fibs over, bang, right there. Okay, good. All right, let's zoom in a little. Yeah, this would have been a great trade right in here. Entering on this engulfing, or this rejection here in this lower time frame, lower high on a 1 hour would have been a really great trade right in here. Damn. All right, cool. So this is that overall daily fib, this larger fib, but we can throw a smaller fib in here as this lower low was formed. So that means we want to get in on the conviction candle, high to the low, right here. Where is it? There it is, right here. Came back up and hit 50% and then dropped. So again, that's your entry right there. So now we can refib again on this lower time frame. We want this to the low. Came back up, hit the 61.8. So let's go ahead and highlight this real quick, because you guys see a theme here. Every time it breaks support, we're pretty much pulling back to a fib level, giving us many confirmations, tons of confluence, and it's just looking, it's forming pretty good structure, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead. I'm going to mark 95.5 as this level. 95.5, 5, it's blue, perfect. We can bring this up a little bit and then make this zone a little bit smaller. Okay, see how it just reacted perfectly? And now we're kind of continuing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this higher time frame fib because we already know we're bearish. I'm just gonna clean up the chart a little bit, and we're gonna focus on just this time frame for a second. Okay, so right now, this is another huge level of support, or not huge level, I'm sorry. This is more or less like a 1 hour level. Right here at, where'd it go? 90, 0.948. I like this level very much. It was a support level. It broke, now it's testing as resistance, which is also in line with our 38.2 fib level, which is a good sign. And we actually just got below the MAs. We got an MA cross. So this is what we like to see. This is one pretty big tip, guys. This is a gem I'm about to tell you. It really helps when identifying structure. See this large bearish push? This is a nice leg down, right? Now price action pulls back. See how it comes back through the MAs, then hits structure? So this is kind of like a two-part process. The fact that we're seeing a moving average cross and a structure level hit, or a fib level hit, confirms structure for us. That's two like indications of, confirmed structure. So the MA cross is what we want to see, and then it hits a fib level, and then it pulls back through the MAs. Over here it happens. So I'm going to highlight this. This is a great sign, because like after we had these two confirmations over here, the MA cross and the fib level hit, this says to us the trend is continuing. We know we formed structure. Now this is acting as another indication of more bearish momentum, this moving average cross right here. So this is what we want to see. This is perfect. Angelo and I talk about this all the time in our live sessions. This is what you want to see. So MA cross, break of support, here's the pullback. We want to see this be a confirmed lower high below this support, which is also in line with this 38.2. This is a lot of confluence here, so this is a great sign. So this could be a trade opportunity right now, to be honest. If we get the confirmation you want to see, we're looking to target down towards the negative 27 in the weekly. Okay? So this is exactly what we want to see right now. I'm going to drop down time frames for you guys to the 1 hour and see if we can identify, something a little more precise. Let's go ahead and bring this in just a tad. Bang, right there. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Bring this in a little more, actually. Okay. And perfect. Okay, cool. This is looking really good. So, what I want to see right now is this. Nope, not that. I want to see this minor level break. This minor support break right around, what is it? Here is it. Here it is. Right around 0.947. There you go. So I want to see a nice engulfing right through that. Then I'm entering. If you get any sort of bearish confirmation right here that closes below these MAs, that's an entry, guys. I'm pretty much just giving you a trade right here, and I'm going to highlight it for you. Excuse me. We're going to play this down to the monthly. Boom. Perfect. This is looking like a really great trade, actually. You guys are going to, if you're watching this now, right before this executes, you could potentially be getting into a really nice trade. So this is what this trade is going to look like, targeting down towards the weekly around, let's just call it 200 pips. We'll cut it a little short, keep it nice and round. Nope, that was the wrong. There we go. Okay, 200 pips, there it is. And then our stop loss could be potentially all the way up here. Even outside of this, you could even have a 100 pip stop loss, which, let's just count the levels of protection from this stop loss right now. So if this is a confirmed lower high after we get this, that's one level. The MA is the 200 EMA as well. You can count those. Let's just count those as one. This major support and structure level, that's 3, right? And then we have these lower highs, higher time frame lower high, and 61.8 fib level, another structure level, and this obviously huge resistance level up here. So there are tons of protection for this stop loss at the 100 pip mark, which is still a 2-0 risk reward. Even if you wanted to, even this would be enough. Outside the 200 EMA, I would even do 40, 50 pips on this one. I would probably do 45. Personally, let's go ahead and do that. 45, and this presents a 4.44 risk reward. This is an absolutely insane trade if this plays out. And again, we're really close, to be honest with you. I just want to see a few more setups right now. A nice bearish engulfing, some huge exhaustion, bearish variation in the form of 3 bearish candles in a row and so on. Good volume. This is looking really nice right now, and these wicks are kind of hinting at that exhaustion as well. Definitely a big confluence area, an area to be watching 100%. So what I'm going to do now is kind of work backwards now. I'm going to start jumping up time frames and kind of validating the logic behind this trade, seeing if it all makes sense, seeing if if I'm in the wrong or if I'm choosing an unrealistic level or so on and so on. So right now it looks good. We're on the 4 hour now. We're targeting a lower low near a major support level. Good. Fibs line up. Good. The sentiment is bearish clearly. Good structure forming throughout this. We're getting lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and so on. Very, very good. Now we're going to jump up to the daily. See if it makes sense again. Very bearish. Yep. We form structure throughout here. Broken pattern. We're lower high after lower high after lower high, and we're targeting a prior low at the weekly. Good. Makes sense so far. And then let's just zoom out and jump up to the weekly and then monthly. This level, yeah, so this makes a lot of sense, guys. This is a huge level, which is very likely for price action to reach this weekly right here. Every time we get to this weekly, we'll see a lot of reaction. So this is, this could definitely come down to this level once again. It's certainly looking like it, especially on this weekly. It's just so freaking bearish. It's actually unbelievable. So looking good so far. Okay, guys, so this has been a full chart breakdown. Let me zoom back into where we had this trade marked up. This has been a full chart breakdown on USDCHF. And, I'll see you guys in the next one.